Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, and we're on the road again, and it's a remote show, and it is indeed rainy season in South Florida. So here we are for our monthly visit to Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market in beautiful Hollywood, Florida, and we are joined today by a special guest. His name is Chris DeFelice. His title, and this is melting my heart, my keto heart, is protein specialist for Performance Food Group. Wow. We're going to be talking all things protein, I guess, today with Chris. But
absolutely,
Jeff Defo DeForest, as usual. How are you today, Jeff Defo?
I mean, look at this already. They started out Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. They should just make it a restaurant. They really should. I mean, unbelievable presentation. We got ribs, we got corn on the cob, we have chicken wings, baked beans.
Yeah.
We're ready for Memorial Day and the barbecue. This is great.
Absolutely.
And we're loaded up, locked up, ready to go on the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group. 105,000, almost 106,000 already there, Defo. Strong. A lot of food fanatics out there that watch the simulcast of our weekday Lunchbox show. Before we begin and get into the meat of the matter, so to speak, let's raise a glass and a toast in honor of our Eastern Conference champion, Stanley Cup finalist, Florida Panthers. Everybody, they got it done.
I think they're going all the way, too.
Wow. And this is from Chris DeFelice. He's a Texan. He lives in Texas, does a lot of work with restaurants and businesses like Delaware Seafood and Chicken Farm here in Hollywood in Florida. But, what did you think? Are you a hockey fan? Do you actually pay attention to this stuff?
Hockey. Grew up watching hockey. Love hockey. Couldn't get enough of it as a kid. My dad took me to a game. I was done.
Where are you from originally?
Originally from California. So we used to go to the Kings games.
Kings? Was that the Gretzky era or before that? That was
well before that. So funny story. I live in Texas. I'm a Blues fan.
Ha! Singing the blues, St. Louis.
That's right.
Yeah. Did they win it all with Brett Hull? Or
they did.
Yeah.
Actually, the infamous could it have been kicked in goal that took them there. So, yeah.
Yeah, we follow a little hockey here. I used to be a sports writer before I got into the food world, and I actually covered the Panthers in their inaugural season, and then when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals in their third season in '96, I wasn't covering it every round, but starting in that second round it was the Flyers, then the Penguins, and then, of course, they get swept in the Stanley Cup Finals by a devastatingly strong Colorado Avalanche team with Patrick Waugh. I was there for all those. This, I think, is even better. The team, it's a total surprise when a team barely makes the playoffs, ekes in as a number 8 seed.
Knocks out what could be the best season ever by a hockey team in Boston.
That's right. And down 3-1, they come back, roar back, the Cats, win 3 games in a row. They've won 11 out of 12. They swept the Hurricanes that everybody said was going to be such a tough matchup for them. And, of course, they win 4 out of 5 against the much vaunted Toronto Maple Leafs. People are looking in stunned, in disbelief. Yes, we're doing a live stream show at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market.
I think people want to start picking at the platters.
Yeah,
that's really the thing. Who wouldn't want to try some of this? It looks like a free sample.
Yeah, no, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Well, we look like the lady in Publix that has the free samples. Yeah.
No, there's no samples yet. After the show, after all the hosts get to dive in, we will be maybe offering some samples. Anyway, we're all over the place. We're on the hockey rink. We're here at Delaware Chicken. We're here with Chris DeFelice from Performance Food Group. And again, let's talk pork. Let's talk
about this guy's title. How did this come about? Protein director?
Protein specialist.
Yeah. So
I love that.
I came up through Vegas. I came up through the restaurant business there.
I'm going on timeout because we talked before the show. you went to both high school and college in Las Vegas, and you were telling me UNLV?
UNLV during the Tarkanian years, the towel-sucking years. Absolutely.
I'd have been there with the great Joe Beja of Gulfstream Park fame.
I actually, for the sports fan, Spider-Man Burns was in multiple ones of my classes. Those who are NBA fans will know that name. So worked in the restaurant business all through that portion of my life. Moved to Texas to start a steak chain.
Okay.
So we started Texas Land and Cattle Company. I knew more about protein than most anybody else. That this food service company that we bought from Alliant, which doesn't exist anymore. So they offered me a job to head their program, and that's where it started. And I am self-taught in the business.
Nice. That's the best kind.
Yeah.
Natural curiosity.
Do it hands-on. That's
now what exactly does the job entail? I mean, as a protein specialist, you look at a platter like this and say, wow, there's some good protein there. I mean,
so what I have to do is I have to be able to identify what you got here.
Okay.
Basically where it came from, what part of the animal it came from.
Yeah,
but not only am I doing that, so I'm helping customers like Delaware, showing them product, showing them what's a good fit for them, what their customer base would want to do. I'll go see restaurants, barbecues, hospitals, whatever their protein needs are. I'm there to help them and tell them about things that maybe they don't know about. Everybody knows about ribeyes or strips or pork chops, but do they know about a pork rack? Do they know about a pork tomahawk? What do they know and what don't they know? And what's available that they might not even know? Hey, I didn't know you can dry age pork.
Right.
Things like that.
And I didn't know you could dry age pork either. So this is like, and things have gotten so much more advanced. I mean, people have a lot more knowledge, and they're being bolder and more experimental in their own home cooking and grilling.
Absolutely.
Restaurants and markets like this have to adapt, right?
So from where I started to where I am now, the biggest change in what I do has been the Food Network.
Right.
Because people don't ask, or never did before, hey, where does that food come from? What do you know who the rancher is? Do you know who the farmers are? Those kinds of questions never came up. But when they started being introduced to celebrity chefs who said, I only buy from, I only source from this part of the country.
Right.
Those things started translating into the restaurant business, because then their customers were asking the same type of questions. And so that's been a big change in probably the last 10 years.
Level of specificity. And again, now, tell me, I guess, well, first of all, as a protein specialist, do you approve of the keto diet? And this is something I'm going to just kill Defo with, because, I've been insufferable.
Of 105,000 people, there are 104,999 that have no interest in the fact that this guy is eating pickles wrapped in bologna. I'm glad he's losing a little weight. He probably, could use a little step in that direction.
I think anything that you do that puts health in your diet is a great thing.
Well, I think any diet where you could just eat all the ribs that you want and it's still considered,
how can that be a bad thing?
A weight loss mechanism?
Yeah, is a beautiful thing. And anything that puts value and sale into what I do is even better.
And so, for those who don't know, keto is basically a protein-centered diet, and carbs are considered, the enemy. But when you eat nothing but good quality protein, it's good for your body, muscle mass, and basically then you end up getting weaned off the sugars. And all right, I'm not going to bore anybody with my keto
process. This is day number
but
37 of our mental captivity with this guy.
And this is day number 57.
Well, and before that, it was another obsession he had where he wasn't drinking.
That was just.
And then we're coming to realize that the guy's just strange.
Whoa. Hold on. We're not crazy talking now, are we?
Well, I gave it up for Lent, even though I'm Jewish. That was the strange part.
This is what you're dealing with here on the show. Are you sure you want to continue as a guest? I mean,
so
we can throw to a break.
Right? We can drink.
He's back on the drinking, but all of a sudden he doesn't eat bread. So
vodka only now because of keto. So anyway,
is this potato vodka?
Yes, that's exactly right.
But he feels compelled to explain it every day, which we already know the deal.
I'm down a belt loop, everybody. I'm achieving results.
So you understand that keto people are like vegans.
Yeah.
I have to tell you I'm a vegan. I have to tell everybody.
And why you're not, and why it's ruining your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I know. I get a little bit over the top. I am singing the virtues, but all right.
Because he's trying every day to talk himself into the fact that it's not Meshuggah to be doing this. It would be like, what was it? Somebody was explaining it. It would be like going to a Texas barbecue that was all plant-based.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Okay, wait a minute. Whatever I got myself into now.
No,
You're in the middle of an argument here.
Okay. Oh no,
No,
I'm trying to protect the
will-
audience and
we'll
our
start
guests.
talking about how you ribs are produced and done.
Yeah.
yes.
Whether you wet sauce them or dry them.
Let's
That's
that-
when the arguments are
Yes,
going to
Yes,
start.
and it's actually on my list there, the food debate time, the ribs.
There
Do
you
you
go,
dry rub
see?
them? Do you make them all saucy as you grill them? But we could go right to the debate first. I mean,
yeah,
you were telling me you live in
I live
Austin,
in
Texas,
Austin,
which is now
Texas.
the mecca of barbecue.
Barbecue, yeah.
Franklin barbecue, obviously, and
absolutely.
just do you have any thoughts on
I'll
the
just-
proper way of briskets or
I'm
ribs?
gonna throw out there just so your audience knows, the same pork that Franklin's buys, they can get here at Delaware.
Nice
We sell them here, the same product
Oh,
we
sweet.
sell Franklin's.
for the
Now, what they-
ribs or
Yeah,
the
The ribs,
Oh,
absolutely.
well, in that
Rib
case,
is
I'm
trying
going
one
to
of
dig
those
in.
I'm
ribs.
gonna
Yeah,
say,
you go.
yeah, you got to dig into that.
Now,
So because of where I live, I got to go. I'm a dry rub guy.
Mustard sauce on these now. Carolina mustard sauce. Which
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
it? South Carolina there, Michael?
South
South
Carolina
Carolina.
has the mustard-based sauce.
Yeah.
Not too sweet, which is good for me. Gene,
Yeah.
our man today,
Right.
who's filling it. Well, Gene is one of the managers, and he always does a great job cooking up.
I was gonna
The
say,
protein.
Gene has
He's been
chef
taking care of
instincts,
us.
does he
I'm
not?
telling
Yeah,
you.
he really does.
But I'm a dry rub guy when it comes to ribs. I want dry. And here's the peek under the tent for me. If
Mm.
you're gonna put a dry rub on your ribs, I want a little bit of cinnamon added to that. Not a lot, just enough. And what's great about doing cinnamon on pork is if you feed that to somebody, if it's at your home or you're doing a big barbecue for somebody, people will taste it and they'll go, "What's
something
there's
in there?"
something. Don't tell me. I'm gonna. Oh no, it's and they'll struggle and you're like, okay, fine, tell me what it is, and you're like cinnamon. They're like, oh,
And that's
Yes.
every time we go to Skyline Chili. That's what
say-
Defo does.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Uh-oh,
Don't tell
I
me you're
brought
a
it
fan.
up.
I
Oh,
have
no.
been to Skyline. Yep.
Would you prefer
know
the
what?
4-way, the 5-way, or the no-way? Which we ordered the no-way. He
The
orders
no-way?
the 5-way, yeah.
I got 5-way.
I'm a
I
big
would-
fan. Oh,
I
you
gotta
see,
do
me and this
5-way.
guy, I knew we'd hit it
I
off.
gotta do
Yeah.
He's a
5-way.
protein specialist, and
Yeah.
he likes dusting his dry rub with a little bit of that cinnamon, give it a little bit of that flavor profile that people just, but it enhances pork.
It
to my-
does. Yep.
In my mind.
That's what the great thing. So, what makes it different from most proteins is that it's accepting of pretty much whatever you want to do with it.
Mhm.
If you want to
This
make
guy
it
does
spicy,
look like my old bookie, by the way. Just walking in.
Do you
here,
own
doesn't he?
anything?
if a 6'5" guy walks in, he's probably collecting. I'm moving
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
I'm thinking we're both moving. But
I'll have your money Tuesday, Lou. Don't worry.
and mine's Wednesday.
And I'll
Um,
take the heat in the 8.5 tonight.
Yeah,
Thank you
there
very
go.
much.
While you're at it, could you
while
throw
you're
me a
at it.
hockey parlay?
Yeah. But it's great because it's such a mild meat that if you want it to taste spicy, use spicy. You want it to taste sweet, use a sweet base. I mean, anything you do to it, it accepts those flavors, but it doesn't mask the taste of what pork is. And
Nice.
That's what's beautiful about it.
Obviously, we're going into the big holiday weekend. Memorial
Yep.
Day for much of the country signals the start of summer grill season. Here it's Florida. We do it 12 months out of the year. But
We even grill indoors.
Yeah.
what's your ultimate barbecue? Would it be having some, nice pork ribs, a dry rub with maybe a little bit of brisket on the side, or some beef ribs,
So-
or
Yeah. See, I'm kind of a spoiled when it comes to that just because of what I do. I don't take shortcuts when it comes to protein. So I'm doing a good rib
Mm.
at a barbecue. And then, believe it or not, briskets are great.
you don't have to tell me
How-
twice. I had some
however,
yesterday.
If you have never taken a culotte and smoked a culotte, you are missing.
Now,
a
is that
big
against
chunk.
the law in like 35 states still, or smoking?
36.
Okay.
But
Now, explain this to me, because
so
I'm a
sure.
food guy. What's a
right,
culotte?
so
Okay.
culotte. So if you've ever been to one of the all-you-can-eat type Brazilian steakhouse,
Yeah.
and you've had the picanha,
Yeah.
that is a culotte or a cap.
Ah.
So it is a specific muscle off of a sirloin, and it's that one single muscle kind of on the bottom, and it's got a nice little 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch fat cap on top of it, and it is a beautiful piece of meat to smoke. You can carve it, you can do it like prime rib. So we'll do that for the beef side, and then we will do a good St. Louis rib,
Oh,
and
I,
Those are gonna
the
be-
spare ribs. The St. Louis ribs are like what people
Big
call the
ones.
spare
These are
ribs, not the little
beautiful.
baby backs. Yeah.
Yep.
Curious. I mean, a lot of people will be making selections. Maybe they're novices. They're going to try making ribs for the first time. You see all kinds of different offerings. Obviously, they have very high quality stuff here at Delaware Chicken Farm. But in general, I mean, is there some kind of guideline for judging the quality and what level you should not go below, and what constitutes like really premium stuff?
Sure. So kind of pork is kind of like beef in this way. If you buy a specific breed, you get consistent quality.
Okay.
So you know what Black Angus is to beef.
Right.
It's the same animal every time in and out. And that's what makes buying that type of product great. Here at Delaware, they're doing a Duroc pork.
Duroc, yeah.
So it's a specific breed. So you get consistency and quality because it's the same thing over and over.
These are great, very tender.
Yeah,
no
fall
So
doubt.
apart
it's considered the
tender.
Duroc pork ribs.
Pork ribs.
And you
Right.
hear some items. Some people say heritage pork, and that there's Duroc
that's-
pork. Right.
Exactly what that is.
Pre-cook
It
them
is a
first and then
heritage-
throw them on the grill, or how
You know
do you
what?
do them?
Low and slow is always good.
Low and
He's
slow.
from Texas.
I
Come
love
on.
this guy.
Low and
Yeah,
slow
yeah.
is the
Low
only
and
way to
slow
go.
is the only way
You
to
don't
do
throw
it.
them in the oven
Yep.
at 350 for a couple hours,
You know what? I'll either put them in the oven at like
or 250 or something. Yeah,
175, or I'll sous vide them.
Oh, he's a sous vide guy. That's where you kind of simmer it in the plastic and
Because,
to get that
yeah.
low consistency.
Well, if you look
Chefy
at it-
people love that.
Yeah,
I'm averse to it. I'm a charcoal fired kind of guy.
And you know
Smoke.
what? There is nothing wrong with that.
Indirect smoke.
Sous vide is a great way to drop it in, get it started, go to work for 8 hours,
Finish it off on
come
the.
home and throw it on the grill.
You finish
It's
it.
got to be grilled. It's
You
got
got
to
to finish that exterior,
You
otherwise
gotta
you got mush.
crisp that outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are having some good food debate here. I'm with you though on the dry rub ribs, and then I like to sauce them at the end, put a little squirt of something on the side, and drag
Something
it through.
sugary to burn them.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
need
to get that
sugar
little
to burn, to
crisp
get
at
that
the end.
crisp
Yeah.
crust on the outside.
Caramelization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we're here with Krista Felice. He's from Performance Food Group. He is the protein specialist. I love saying that. When I grow up, I want to be a protein specialist.
Are there
I don't want to grow up. But
Instead, I'm just a
Are
psycho
you the only guy in the
keto
company
man.
that has this title? I would think so.
I am the only
Oh,
guy in the
nice.
company
Yeah.
that has the title. Yeah. We
That's
have
great.
And
we
but
have-
like you said, self-taught, so it is not like a PhD in protein
No.
anywhere. Although I imagine
Yeah.
these days somebody could go out
I
and
have-
get one from the University of Phoenix or whatever. But
I have
but-
friends who have PhDs in animal science from
Yeah.
Colorado State, from Oklahoma State. Absolutely, you can.
yeah, you could get
But,
very,
yeah.
very serious in the science of it all. I'm just wondering now. I might switch allegiance. I thought I was rooting for Vegas to close out the Western Conference tonight because like a Vegas Florida Panther final sounded good. But I don't know. Maybe I want a Dallas comeback so we could go down
You
to
go
Austin
come
and
out,
visit
yeah.
Chris here.
We're gonna go
and-
hang
We,
out
we
at
could go
barbecue
through
places.
there. We could stop in Dallas,
Yeah.
stop over for a couple hours,
We're gonna do the
drive to Austin, and then go to Vegas.
we're gonna do the barbecue tour.
Yeah, I need to get
So
back
what's
to
Memorial
Austin.
Day like in Texas? That's got to be wild. And is
That's-
there a barbecue place on every corner?
There are quite a few barbecue places down there.
What would be like some of the more well-known ones? Because you're always thinking, geez, I want to get some great Texas barbecue. If I'm in Austin, which I might come out there, is Odell's there? The music place, Don Odell's. Is that in Austin, Texas?
I'm not familiar with that one. to
All
tell
right.
you the
Well,
truth.
they have a real good music scene there, and a lot of my favorite blues artists come through there all the time. But so, is there a place that we would go that stands out, that has like a name that people
Franklin's
would recognize?
Barbecue is probably one of the
It's
better
become the
known.
Mecca now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
And you
Okay.
said you
It
just
is-
spent a little time with Aaron
Yeah.
Franklin.
He is a
He's-
wonderful individual. He knows his craft.
When did
What-
that
what
place
sets them
open?
apart? Yeah.
He opened roughly 13, 14 years ago.
You see, that's why
in a
I missed him.
25-foot trailer. It was just a small little trailer. And we at PFG started selling him back then. We'd have to deliver every day to him because the little area we're in here is as big as his entire place was.
Right.
He couldn't hold more than a day's worth of
And he's
food.
become this nationwide sensation. And people line up literally like 3 hours in advance before they open, right?
The line goes down the stairs, across the parking lot,
What's the
up
secret?
the street.
I mean, what makes it so good?
He just does it right.
Low and slow.
Oh, yeah.
Low and
Does it
slow.
right. Yeah.
None of that
Um,
parboiling. And he's famous for his briskets, obviously.
Brisket,
Yeah.
yep.
Yep. Yeah.
He does everything. Actually, I've never had a bad protein at his place.
Yeah, I got to make a road trip there. I have good friends I haven't seen in 25 years. Last time I was in Austin was like 2000, 2002. So it's been a while.
There is the other place that I love is called Style Switch. and they do a phenomenal job as well. And they've had a pit master there that's been there for the better part of a decade.
Okay, that's
And then
good.
he knocks it out of the park.
Continuity is good. Is
Yeah.
there any place there in Austin that's been like there for 50, 70 years, something like a venerable institution like Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, which has been here since the 50s, which is
So Louis Mueller started barbecuing in the Austin area quite a while ago, and his son has taken on the Mueller name, and there's a Mueller's barbecue there now. But the quote unquote institution when it comes to barbecue in Texas, be it ribs or brisket, is Black's Barbecue.
Black's?
It's not in Austin, it's outside of Austin, about an hour.
I think I've been there. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were, their credit as being the first one to ever barbecue.
Nice.
Nice.
So yeah,
So let's talk about closer to home for people here in
Yep.
South Florida.
absolutely.
Obviously, well, I want to talk more about pork because for a
Yeah.
while it was marketed as the other white meat.
Right.
Some people are still skittish about eating it for whatever reasons. And again, there's a little bit of a hurdle because for religious reasons, some
Sure.
people just don't eat it.
Right.
Does that make it more of a challenging product to market and sell?
So beef has been king forever. We are a beef eating nation. Beef, basically, as we know it, was started in this country. So pork has always taken second place, but it's not a second place protein. That's the funny thing. It's basically, actually a little bit more healthier for you than beef is. Even
Lower
if
in
you-
fat,
It's lower in fat. It's lower in calories. It's higher in protein.
keto friendly too.
Keto friendly. So from that aspect, it's a great protein. It's inexpensive in compared to beef.
Right.
Now that's going to change a little bit,
Mm.
which we can talk about that in a little while, but because the price is going to go up a little bit. But
No, I don't
not-
want to hear that.
Yeah, not too bad.
Okay.
And it's nothing the industry did. Believe it or not, it's something another state did, but that's a whole story.
Okay.
But yeah, there are some people that still, if you look at certain age groups, trichinosis.
Yeah.
You know, oh my gosh, I've got to cook, and that's where the stigma of white pork came in, is
Mhm.
because you've got something that doesn't have a lot of marbling or color to it, and then you cook the ever loving life out of it.
They end up hammering it. Just,
Right.
Yeah.
And so, what protein tastes good cooked well done? You know.
Not except my
Yeah.
grandma's
Yeah.
brisket that they ate every year at
Yeah.
Passover, which she couldn't
You
say a
know,
word. But yeah,
People
it
used
was
to come in. We used to train our servers when I was the restaurant side. They'd go, "Yeah, I'll have the steak and I'll have it well done." And we'd ask them, "Why don't you just have the chicken then?"
Yeah.
You know,
Why
are
don't you
gonna
just eat
ruin
my
a-
shoe?
Here's a hockey puck. We got it
Right.
at the game last
You're
night.
gonna
It
ruin a
came into the
$30
crowd. Yeah.
steak.
Great.
So
Great.
this
Yeah.
this brings me to something because like I go one of our sponsors, Tropical Acres. They have this nice, I think it's a Duroc pork chop now that they cook, and I tell them don't overcook it. Do it like
Right.
not a little bit like medium, a little less than medium. I mean, can you see pink in a nice quality pork chop?
You need pink in pork.
Really?
Pork now is like beef.
Yeah.
It should be handled the same way. It should be cooked the same way. It should never be more than medium. Even
Right.
the pork, the
Juicy. You want to
national
see
pork-
juices flowing out of it when you
Absolutely.
cut it. Yeah.
You age pork like, oh my gosh, there's so many great things you can do with pork now that you couldn't. Once again, everybody's panicking about trichinosis. There hasn't been a case of trichinosis in this country in
Yep.
60 years.
Yeah, it's one of those myths
You-
like MSG is bad for you. That's
Right.
an old food myth. And then the same thing with pork,
With
that
pork,
you can't
You can't
have
do
it medium or you can't see any
I would
pink or any red juices.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tell your audience that if they were asking me the question, I would tell them the only time I'm going to cook my pork all the way done is if I'm buying a pork chop from the guy who raised the pig next door.
Mhm.
He's the one. I don't know how he raised it. I
Right.
don't know what's
You don't-
happened
what
to him.
kind of
What's he
treat-
feeding it in
Right.
the backyard? But nowadays we treat the animals really well. It's clean. It's sanitary. That stuff just doesn't happen
Wow,
anymore.
this is a great stat. I didn't know. Not a case of trichinosis over 60 years. So
60 years.
eating pork is,
I'm gonna,
safe.
in case you've got those people out there that are Googling what
Yep.
Chris is saying, the exception to that was in the 90s or the late 80s, there was trichinosis cases that were tied to bear meat.
Bear meat. Okay.
But as far
Defo,
as,
please don't eat the bears,
Yeah.
especially
I
the
don't know that I've
cocaine
had bear
bears.
meat,
Yeah.
Don't
anytime.
eat the cocaine bear, okay? It's not good for you.
Well, I mean, there might be some redeeming quality there, but
Yeah.
only if there was some kind of residual you could gain secondhand. But
You could sniff
so,
the
yeah.
bear.
I'm curious to
So-
see what you think of these ribs, though. You haven't partaken yet. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a rib eating expert.
Uh-oh,
That's
he's going to
'cause
go with a
I'm
knife
I'm
and a
the-
fork.
I'm
He's
the
being,
talker. I'm the talker.
yeah,
That's what
all
it
right.
is.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we
you guys are gonna
we got to
shame me into
initiate you
using
to
my
the
fingers.
ways of the
To see what
lunchbox.
these
There
are,
you
yeah.
go. I'm going to go back
If
in
you're
for
not
another bite.
overindulging in food while you're on this show, there's something wrong. And the show's not coming off well. These happen to
My
be, like,
problem is I'll wear it.
for me, very tender, absolutely outstanding.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
naturally, I'm a fan of the mustard sauce.
Now,
Little sticky, finger licking good though.
did you notice here when you look at that?
I
when
didn't
bite
get
this,
that deeply into it.
Did
though.
you-
No, that's great. Yeah.
You got a
See
little
the
ring,
darker
little
color?
smoke ring. Yeah, okay.
No, see
Yeah.
the darker color?
Mm-hmm.
That's because we've identified what makes pork good now,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and
nice.
that's having a darker color to it.
Nice.
So, why you want to use a Duroc, or why your viewers would want to find something like a heritage breed, as you brought up earlier, is because you get more quality. The science behind this, if that matters, higher pH in darker meat.
Mhm.
What we know is darker meat, more moisture, means it retains it when you cook it.
It retains what?
It retains the moisture.
The
when you
moisture.
cook it.
Okay, so it's juicier, more.
even if somebody who is, let's say, I'm fearful of cooking pork all the way, it's still going to be juicy.
Right.
Because
So
it's got
it'll
the higher
retain enough.
moisture.
It's like cooking a chicken thigh. It has a higher fat
Yep.
content, so
And
it takes more to dry it out
the
and all
short,
that.
the
Yep.
short answer to how do I pick out good pork? You want to have your pork look like beef.
Yep.
I want it to be pink. I want it to be darker colored.
Mm.
That means it's going to be juicy, tender, and fall apart.
Let's talk about pork tenderloins because that's something that Michelle started cooking a while back, and also one of these things where you could just roast it in the oven, you could grill it, marinate it again, but when you cut it open and let's see a little bit of that medium rare in the middle. And at first I was a little bit taken aback, but no, she was like, no, you can eat
No,
this. That's perfectly
absolutely.
He
healthy.
thought she
for a
was trying to
good-
kill him. That's his ex-wife was talking about.
Ah,
Yeah. And he understood the myth. And if you wanted to instill fear into somebody, just tell Mike Mayo that this is no good for you, and immediately he has a reaction to it.
No, my
Yeah,
daughter
yeah.
was at the table, so I knew she wasn't trying to kill us.
All right,
At least
well,
I was hoping not.
Did you
no,
try the drinks? Did you have her take a sip first?
no, but again, it was juicy
Yeah.
and a little bit on the medium rare side.
And how
in
was
this,
it? Did you taste it? It
delicious.
just fell
Yeah.
apart, right?
Again, and nobody got sick, and nobody. It's just one of those things you have to get over the past, brainwashing, the erroneous
So we
food.
were with a customer who insisted it had to be cooked all the way. And she just sat there and said, no, it has to be. It has to be. It has to be. So I said, okay, we're gonna try a little something. And she goes, okay. So we blindfolded her.
Yeah, always put a blindfold. on.
Always blindfold your women. Yeah, that one's gonna get me a comment, right? So we cooked 2 pork chops. We cooked one to medium and one to well done. And I said, taste this. And she goes, oh my gosh, that's really good. I'm like, great. Now taste this one. She goes, holy cow, that's way better than the first one.
Yeah.
I go, are you sure? And she goes, yeah, that's the one I want. I
Okay,
said, great.
take off the blindfold.
Take off the blindfold. And she takes it off and she goes, I hate you.
Yeah.
And I said, it's not what you were raised on anymore.
Right.
This isn't how it is.
Yeah, and again, all these things going on with all these wonderful proteins and meats. Are you into the sausage game at all? Do you guys distribute sausages?
We do.
Yeah.
And I love sausage. That's my go-to jam at a barbecue
Yeah.
because I can tell how good your barbecue is by your sausage.
Well, I had a product yesterday. It was, I think it came out of Austin. I'm not sure which particular place, but the cheddar jalapeno sausage smoked. Man, that's like a keto potato chip right there. They slice it diagonally like little with the nice crisp edges. That's good stuff. So
There is a company that raises wild hogs in Texas, and they harvest those. That's your touchy-feely word of the day, by the way.
uh-huh.
We harvest
Harvest
everything we
of
do.
pork. Okay.
And they do a wild boar cheddar jalapeno sausage that is to die for.
Well, that sounds pretty good, especially everything sounds good. All right, so let's
Food
see.
sounds good.
He's a happy man. He's eating.
Yeah.
These wings are great, by
Yeah.
the way.
The wings
I
are
ain't
good.
trying to
I don't
wing.
know
And-
what kind of sauce he's got on them. It looks like a little
similar
bit of a
to what we had. Yeah.
It's same sauce. Okay, he's got like that
Very
mustard
good.
sauce.
You got to
Gene
try some of these beans.
does it
there,
all
Mike.
right. No, that's that'll kill me. I can't eat the
You can't
beans.
do that? Yeah.
Nope, that's not keto friendly.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Corn will kill me because I have diverticulitis sometimes, the diverticulosis. So I
There
avoid
are
the
a few
corn.
diseases he's not suspect to or
Yeah.
subject to. but-
I'm just going strictly with the protein because I'm with the protein specialist. So when in Rome, just keep on eating the meat. That's my MO. Chris, again, what else can people find here that you guys are putting out from Performance and that people really need to try and maybe they haven't tried before?
So specifically here, he's doing the ribs. He's got baby backs here, actually.
The baby backs.
Yep. He does pork loins because pork chops are something that is
For-
year round.
For food novices, can you explain the difference between a baby back rib and, let's say, a St. Louis pork, St. Louis
Sure.
rib? Yeah.
So there are 3 ribs that come off of an animal. There's a spare rib, there's a St. Louis rib, and there's a baby back or back rib that come off of them. It's where it sits on the animal.
Okay.
Yeah, right near the actual stomach of the animal. It's where it sits. One sits a little higher, and then it kind of goes down a little lower. Basically, it starts out, they're big, and as it gets further down the animal towards its stomach, they get smaller. That's where the back ribs.
So
sit
the baby
low.
backs are the smallest ones.
Smallest one, and the spares are the biggest.
Spare ribs are the biggest, and
Yep.
the St. Louis are the ones in
Right in the
between.
middle, yeah, you're
They're
basically
just
yeah.
right. I love those St.
Yeah.
Louis ribs. so.
Beef versus pork. Where do you stand on that? Beef ribs
On
versus
ribs?
pork ribs. Yeah. Do
He was
beef
just
ribs
showing me
count?
some.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
He was showing me some food porn on some of these.
Yeah,
The short rib, the beef short
beef
rib
short
smoked.
ribs. You know what? Short ribs are phenomenal.
Right.
If I'm doing ribs though, and I'm putting them on the grill, I gotta go pork.
I'm with you on
I
that.
love beef ribs, and I think they're phenomenal. But that's more. I want to sit down and take in a meal. I don't look at it like barbecue. It doesn't strike that tone to me.
Right.
Um,
What style? I mean, of the outside of Texas, obviously they have their own kind of, the dry rub and all of that. But
So that's
what are some of
you
your
know what?
favorite
That's
styles?
a great question because it's regional. It depends on
Yeah.
where you go in the country. Depends on what style is big.
What
You go
what
to
do
the
you like?
south.
Yeah.
South, you're going to see spare ribs. They're going to be huge. They're big. They're meaty. They want big rack that takes up a plate, hangs over the side. You go further east and north. Now you're talking baby backs up there. And then you go the Midwest across. It's St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
They want them just to be because the St. Louis is standard size. It looks like a plank.
Yeah.
They're cut. They're shaped the same shape where a spare's kind of big, loopy,
Mm-hmm.
big, huge. You're talking
What-
5
what-
pounds to
Would
a
you
rack.
lump St. Louis and Kansas City in the same group or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you would. Okay.
Absolutely.
In terms of the sauce too, because it's more of a tomato
Sauces are
based.
regional.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
where you're
We've
gonna
all
go.
seen Andy
So-
Reid, so we're assuming Kansas City ribs are just loaded with something that
Something
probably
yeah.
is not good for your waistline.
Yeah, sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then keep in mind, pork is big where I live, but it's huge in the
In the
East
s-
Coast.
Yep, in the
For
south,
sure. Yeah.
particularly.
Pork
Yep.
is king.
Yep.
You go to the Carolinas, it's pork butts.
Yep.
It's ribs. And
It's
brisket makes up such a small percentage of what they do.
yeah, pulled pork and pork
Yeah,
shoulder,
it's
all that
all-
stuff. Yeah.
Yep, it's there.
Do you sell any of that stuff like pork butt here
We
or
absolutely
yeah? And that's
here they don't. They can get it. We can
Mm.
easily get it for them here. If one of the customers walks in here and says, "Oh my gosh, those ribs I got here, those pork racks that I got here were just phenomenal. Can I get some?" Yeah.
Yep.
Within a couple of days, we get them a case of butts.
okay. So you do special
Load
orders.
in
All you
and-
got to do when you
yeah.
come out to Delaware here at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just south of Sterling Road, across from the old Seminole Classic Casino. Big chicken on the roof. You can't miss it.
Can't miss that.
You come in here and again the rain drove us inside today, but which is great because now you people can see at home. Well, I'm surrounded by meat. This is basically my fantasy. Well, also poultry. I've got all the nice fresh sausages. I've got the beautiful pork products from Performance.
Seafood over
the
there. looks,
Braveheart
very
beef
tempting,
that
yeah.
we had the Braveheart beef program we discussed last month, and of course their selection of fresh seafood, fish, and all that. You'll find it here at Delaware 7 days a week. They're open. Come on in for this big holiday weekend. And again, if you want to go check out the daily offerings and the weekly specials, go to DelawareChicken.com. Better yet, come in the store itself. They do curbside delivery if it's pouring, raining out, and you don't want to get wet. But it's better to come in the store and you see the beautiful display cases here. Chris, we're going to take our break, and hopefully you can stick around. We'll talk a little bit more about protein because, as you can see, I could eat it
You're
and talk
going
about
very
it
light on
all
that,
day.
Mayo. You've been slobbering. You really need to dig in.
Well,
during
that's
the
why
break
we'll have
here.
a double break, and
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah.
start scarfing down all the
I'll
protein.
down a few more of these ribs.
Got to get my keto.
Fantastic.
I did my 3-mile walk this
good for
morning.
you.
It wasn't
Very nice.
Look at
4,
that.
but it was 3. So I'm
All right.
doing my walks of life as Defo, big proponent of just the daily exercise.
You know what's good on that? The turn back in distance.
Yeah.
It's very much like thoroughbred racing.
I haven't done 4 in a while,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you
I've been
know,
going
if I
4.
get my 3, you know, it's it'll keep me in the game.
I had to do a
hopefully.
quickie yesterday. Literally had to go the 3-mile route because I was, the time crunch. And it was like nothing. I was thinking, wait a minute, I'm done already? You got to be kidding me. What am I doing back home?
That's it.
This is great. Yeah. So
Right.
so stretch that out and then
That's
curve it
I'm
back.
going to
Go
do it
back,
every day
yeah.
this weekend, and then I'm going to come home and just scarf down some
I love
more
the
of these
dedication.
beautiful
Yeah.
Duroc pork
You
ribs.
get yourself a pork rack.
And you can
Yeah.
eat this
You
whole
just
thing
eat that.
and not have it affect your negatively affect
No,
your
you can
Yeah,
eat all
there
the
you go.
protein you want,
Even
but
with the
one
sauce.
bean will kill you. But
one bean. Well, good at that point.
So now the bean ranchers on the
No,
they're gonna come after
I'm
you.
kidding.
But
It's-
he had a bean.
Yeah.
Look,
He's dead.
everything in moderation. I'm going a little nuts on this keto thing. Hardcore for 5 weeks. I want to see where it gets me. Then I'm going to go back on it for the summer after my I have birthday and Father's Day the same weekend. I'm just going to be drowning in pasta and pizza and all that and
Yeah.
gain back all the weight. But all right, let's take a break. We'll be back more. We'll be back for more with Chris DeFelice.
I
of
love this guy, by the way.
Performance
It's fantastic.
Food Group after these words.
Having a great time.
Beach Cafe. It's a South Florida landmark, and it's one happy restaurant right on the water. Tables literally on the beach. A place where you could dip your toes in the sand, kick back, relax with island vibes, tropical drinks, and live music daily. You know it. It's at One Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. And of course, it has Chef Chris Nealon and his famed Caribbean Floridian cuisine. With a huge menu with something for everyone. Seafood, raw bar, conch fritters, burgers, sandwiches, salads, deli specials, and of course, that famous Bimini bread. They've got a great staff that'll take great care of you. There's something to celebrate every day. Open 7 days until late. Parking available on site. Happy hour weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. Go check out more at ArubaBeachCafe.com. Better yet, go in there yourself at Aruba Beach Cafe. Good food, drinks, friends, and laughter are always the catch of the day. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
And we're back on the Lunchbox. Thanks for being with us on this glorious Thursday. We're indoors today at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market in Hollywood. Come on out, get your provisions for the long holiday weekend. Steady stream of customers, and they're looking at us somewhat quizzically.
In and out quickly, though, these people. I mean, the service in here is fantastic.
Some people are hovering like vultures. They just can't wait to get at that rack of ribs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like just start doling them out, like maybe.
Well, we should walk around with the platter and offer them to people
after the show.
Whatever's left.
During the break,
Lubie has designs on taking all of that home, but he's getting none of it.
Oh no, he thinks he's going to have the whole holiday weekend prepared for it. No, we're going to be very generous here on the Lunchbox. But I did dig into another rib during the break.
Now, what's your opinion on
Delicious.
this? Because I don't know. Were you a mustard sauce guy or not?
I'm
You're
more of a
dry
dry rub
rub
guy,
yeah.
and then I like putting on a little of that, believe it or not, the North Carolina vinegar,
With the
based
vinegar,
sauce,
yeah. Okay,
which
I like
has
that.
very little sugar and some hot pepper flakes and some of the
different,
vinegar.
yeah.
I love that because, even before this whole keto craziness began, I'm just a guy. I'm not a big sweet meat guy thing. I just like more of that hot
You want the
peppery and vinegary
flavor to
things.
just pop when you
Yeah.
eat.
Spice rubs, even
Spice,
things
yeah.
with cinnamon. I don't mind the cinnamon and some of the
That's
allspice
the
and all
great
that
thing
stuff.
is you can put that cinnamon with a hot chili flake and it still works.
It picks it up beautifully. So we're here with Krista Felice, protein specialist, or do people still say protein? Is that like a British pronunciation?
So
Protein specialist.
Well, where's this guy
I
coming
have-
from? I mean,
I have
we're on a food show. We're slobbering down ribs and chicken. He's like, I'll have some protein. Oh, my God.
They affectionately don't call me the protein specialist
Yeah.
now, just the meat man.
The meat man.
Mr. Meat.
Hey, where's the meat
Yeah,
guy?
where's the
That's,
meat man?
that's my
Yeah.
porn name. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I think I'm going to let that one.
Mayo
I
the
don't know
meat
about
man.
you,
Yeah,
but I'm
I don't know.
walking on that one.
He's had a few indiscretions already. I think his diet's making him a little
yeah,
bit
it's
loopy. There's no doubt.
yeah, you do need some sugars
Yeah.
in the head. Otherwise, it gets a little lightheaded. Then you end up like Dr. Atkins, crack your skull on the
No,
sidewalk.
I mean,
'cause
the
you're
worst
so
we got,
lightheaded.
that was Jim Fix, right? He's gargling with
Oh,
grape
yeah.
nuts. He's telling you it's good for you, and he checks out with a heart attack at 52.
I need some
it's
basil.
crazy.
Running.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what? I'll take up running when I see somebody run with a smile on their face. You can't convince me that you like it if you're not smiling when
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Everybody looks like Rocky starting out those first
Yeah.
few steps in Philadelphia.
Believe it or not, I used to run half marathons. This was before I became a food critic.
You don't have to believe him on that one.
Okay,
I mean,
I was gonna say.
Okay, I more like waddled the half marathons, but anytime I got done with the 13.1, the one thing I never said is, "Oh yeah, I want to do that all over again and run a full marathon." It was insanity. So
it's crazy.
much more enjoyable becoming one of the competitive food eaters or something like that.
I have a big food curiosity that's huge down here, which is the whole pig.
Oh,
And people attempt to make
yeah.
that, and obviously it's a Cuban thing and a Hispanic thing largely,
No
but everybody
buena.
loves it.
Yep.
What's the deal on that? I mean, what are some of the secrets to having success with that if you're trying to do it yourself? Because you get that little wood grill.
Yep.
And then what are some of the keys to making that work out besides ending up with your house on fire or something along those lines? Like
So
with fried
the
turkey.
first key to that
Yeah.
is the smaller the pig, the better it's going to be.
Okay, so
Is
what
there gonna
would be
be-
a reasonable size?
Younger, 25, 35
25
pounds.
pounder? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. be a good one to start with.
Do you guys provide whole pigs if the special order, or is that something that can be
It
arranged?
can
or
be special ordered. Sure, we do that for some of our customers now. It's once again, it's low and slow. I've
That's the
found
secret to
key,
making it happen.
The key to that is burying it. I've always had them come out better. Now you got a smoker. I mean, not like, oh, I got a backyard barbecue. I mean, if you've got a
big giant smoker,
they wonderful to do inside of a smoker because you need to keep it long,
right? And you got to get that
to get it cooked all the way through.
Skin really nice.
Because we did one.
Crisp.
I have a buddy who's got a big Southern Pride smoker, and we did a whole pig for a friend's graduation, and we just put it out on the table, kind of like the picture I showed you guys. And all you had to do was take a pair of tongs and just grab a side and pull off what you wanted, and it just fell right
About
off.
how long does that take? I mean, what's the average time?
22 hours.
22 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
Low and slow.
That's
Low and slow. I had the honor and privilege of being last July 4th at a whole pig roast. My friend Dr. Tranicus up in Fort Lauderdale, but he also buried it and then they swiped it
grape
all
leaves,
off.
and then you put the charcoal on top of it.
And then they swiped it. They had those gloves with all the fireproof gloves, and they swiped everything off. And then you had this. They picked it up on this rack, and like you said, people were just like peeling it off. It was unbelievable, like candy. Pork
First
heaven.
one that I ever did, still had the spine down the back of it, and we put it in the ground and we cooked it, and we had 2 sticks underneath it, so we were just picking up metal rods really, and we picked it up, and when we lifted it, because I left it in the ground almost 36 hours, we lifted it up, and all I had was the bones, and the meat was just
sitting
the bottom,
there.
and I go,
literally meat falls off the bone.
It's done.
Yeah, and then
It's
you
done.
just dig in.
Yeah, so then we had to go.
Take a shovel and just.
We had to
pull
go
out the
down
meat.
there
Yep.
with the gloves and just start scooping it into pans, get it out. I'm like, I kind of overdid it. I think.
Is that the test of good baby back ribs? I mean, we have a place here that's famous for their slogan, meat falls off the bone, baby back ribs. Is that what you want?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I still like having a little bit of give to the, but it's personal preference.
So I categorize, and this isn't going to be in a book, or you're not going to find this anywhere. This is what I've discovered doing what I do for 20 years. There's meat eaters, and there are steak eaters. And it applies to pork as well, because that is going to determine what is the go-to protein for you. And that definition works this way. If you're a meat eater, you want something that's tender, that's fall apart, that I can literally take
it
pull
shreds
the bones out.
Yeah.
You tend to eat ribs. You want to eat a pork tenderloin versus a pork loin, kind of thing. If you're a steak eater, you want tender, but you're about flavor and savoring said flavor.
A little bit of fat, a little bit of marbling, a little bit of chewy.
You are away from a pork tenderloin. You're more towards a pork rack or a pork loin because you want the pork flavor, but you want to chew it a little. You don't want it to just melt in your mouth.
I'm a chewer.
You savor.
Yeah.
That's what you like. So I would classify you as a steak eater.
I love this discussion. Chris DeFelice, you are really knocking it out of the park. I mean, we've spent almost a whole hour just talking proteins, and I don't want to offend you. I do have to ask you about this.
Yes.
The fake meats, the foam meats, the impossible meats. That's protein too, right? It has protein in it.
It does.
Manufactured in a lab.
It does.
What is your opinion of these products?
For those who, I'll try and tiptoe through this. For those who are looking for understand I'm the protein guy.
Right. And some people use this as a meat substitute to also get protein.
And I have no issue with that.
Right.
People like Morningstar, who've been doing that for decades,
Boca Burgers,
do a phenomenal job. It's a great product. It's healthy. If you ever read the ingredient statement on some of the stuff that has come out now, the sodium level is like a 3-day supply of sodium.
Yep.
You may as well eat liverwurst, is what you're saying.
What's the point?
You might as well just down a shaker of salt.
It's not in any way, shape, or form
nothing healthy for you.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's not like you're going to go to that for your keto.
I'm not going there. No.
If you
It's funny
look
though, the
at-
people that eat this stuff and they look at you disparagingly while you're eating your steak,
right.
are thinking, well, I'm doing myself some real good here, and it turns out they're killing themselves with a
Here's
sodium bomb.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's also, I'm a big proponent of real food. And if you look
Right.
at these labels
And
of
that's
all
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You look at a label. What's the ingredient on a pork chop?
pork,
Pork. What's the ingredient statement on a pork substitute?
Yeah.
right.
It's like 18 or 19 things long.
Yeah.
Right, and it all ends in ethanol or a
Right.
sorbitol.
You may
and
as
then
well
it's
be
like,
dining with the
and
Ozempic.
then when you see about the hemoglobin
Yeah.
and the soy hemoglobin and the this, and it's like, yeah, it's the finest fake meat that a laboratory
Can
can
make.
make. But I want real food, and if it means that, okay, I'm eating a pig, but it's a nicely raised and well fed and well maintained, and
I don't know that it matters to the pig so much if it's nicely raised.
So that when people ask me, that's a
Imagine
question
it.
that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Is this a humane program?
Yeah.
And do you treat all these animals humanely? And I said, oh my God, you would not believe what a wonderful life these animals have.
Yeah.
We treat them like they're gold because in essence they are.
Right.
It's their lively. It's the rancher's livelihood. I said they have a phenomenal life. They're treated well. They're fed well. We monitor them. We have doctors that look at them every day of the week. We treat them with kit gloves.
Yeah.
I go, they just happen to have one really
Unfortunately,
bad
their numbers
day.
blinking on the board.
There's
Well,
one really bad
it's-
day. It's just the last
It
one.
was like that old joke
Yeah.
about the hen and the hog, these places that have, breakfast with the eggs and the
Yeah.
bacon. And, the hen says, yeah, well, what we do, we have to put in a lot of effort. But the hog says, we're fully committed.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's it.
involved or committed. That's
Yes.
the thing.
Hey,
Um,
we got to take one more break. This just flew by, Chris. This was a lot
Great spot.
of
Yeah,
fun.
great spot.
Absolutely.
You might as well stick around for the last part because there ain't much left. And one more word about our friends at Tropical Acres Steakhouse, where talk about proteins. You can
Have
get
you been
really
there? Tropical
good
Acres? You might
Tropical
love that place.
Acres.
Yeah.
I think
Need to go check
Carlos
this
has
out, yeah.
provided some
Yeah.
beef and stuff to them in the past, and
Beautiful.
the Studiali family talk about doing it a long time. Tropical Acres has been around since 1949. It's going on its 74th year now, right here, 2500 Griffin Road in Dania Beach. And we love them because you go in there, they're open every day except Sunday. Get in there at some point this weekend. You could get their twin lobster special is going on now, running it as part of the summertime deals. 2 steamed whole live Maine lobsters for $39. It comes with a salad and a side dish. Part of the reason we love Tropical Acres because it's not one of these a la carte steakhouses. They also give you the side dish, the salad, the sauces on the side at no extra charge. They'll take good care of you. They don't want to,
French is not
fleece you.
spoken there.
No,
There's
it's
no a la carte.
no a la carte. They're all about the quality, quality service, value. The Studio Alley family, hospitality, old school. Go in there, tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Don't forget happy hour in the bar Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. Every drink in the house half price, including my favorite, those Belvedere martinis. Can't beat the deals there. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
Another one knocked out of the park here, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. We'll come back and wrap things up with our special guest, Mr. DeFelice, in a moment on the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show.
Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
We're back on the Lunchbox, again, coming to you inside the Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market today. It looks like the sun is out and shining, but we came indoors. It was getting a little bit wet and nasty outside, and I think we found the right place because I'm having a blast here. I love the reactions of all the customers coming in to pick up all their wares, and in about 5 minutes, I will start distributing ribs and just giving to anybody who wants a rib, giving away Defo, actually Lubie's.
Lubie's take-home
Lubie's
special,
thought he was going to take it home. All right, Mark. Chris DeFelice. I always confuse you with the guy in New Orleans who's named Mark DeFelice, a famous restaurateur. But Chris DeFelice, protein specialist. Just wanted to conclude because we were talking about last month. We had Jesse in talking about the Braveheart Beef program and all the DNA and all the specifications that lines. And you were mentioning the same thing applies to the pork.
To this program.
Yeah,
absolutely. We DNA these animals just like we do because we want to be able to tell a customer it's Duroc. And I know it's Duroc. I can scientifically show you it's Duroc, not just because it's the color of something or because somebody said it is.
Do a lot of customers like ask questions? Are they skeptical? Yeah, okay.
They actually are. So, and good for them. It doesn't bother me that they are. It just means that they're looking out for their customers.
Right. Oh, so restaurant and other people that are selling your product. They want to make sure that they have some sort of thing, facts to back it up. I'm sure food journalists like myself, like I used to be, sometimes, there's nothing worse than you go into a restaurant that's purporting to sell a, nice fancy type of red snapper fish or something. And then
it just happened.
And you don't know what it is that they're
Palm
serving.
Beach, right?
Yeah, it's a place where, it ends up being a different variety, much cheaper. Sometimes a lot of times they use the swai fish or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, no, and it's a real problem. You hope that nobody would ever do such a thing, but this is why programs such as yours with the Duroc pork, you can be assured with the Barry Schecks out there, the DNA detectives that are, that this is the, pure breed or the proper breeding, and you are getting what you're paying for. So,
What are some of your favorite spots? We were just talking during that little time out there. When you come to South Florida, where do you like to eat?
I'm going to go find Cuban food.
Cuban food. All right.
Cuban food. Yep. This is Florida. How can you not in South Florida go find Cuban?
Are you a lechon asado guy, like the pork, which is basically pulled pork?
Pulled pork,
roasted.
Of course. What else would he be? Give me those carnitas
you know
right
what?
now. Yeah.
Skirts down here are king.
Yep. The churrasco steaks, the ropa vieja. I love the ropa vieja too. The shredded beef, nice and flavorful.
I'm looking for something different, something.
You're in the right place. I don't know if you've ever gone down 441 right here in Hollywood. There's two places. One is called the Black Beans Cafe, is a little mama pap shop. Been there a long time, really good. And then Las Vegas, which is now a regional chain, but the very first one that this family, which came over, I think, in the Mayo boat lift in the early 80s, but now they've established themselves this whole chain of Las Vegas Cuban restaurants. I think there must be at least a dozen of them around South Florida. But the original flagship location right here, also down on 441, those are two go-to spots of mine for Cuban food. So
check them
Black
out.
Bean Cafe, try the Black Beans, the best in the city.
Yes.
No question.
Black Beans Cafe is a reason. Hey, Chris.
Excellent job.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
I know more about pork now than I've ever known in my life.
Now I have another reason to get back to Austin because I will hunt you down. And then if you
Absolutely.
know Aaron Franklin himself, I will definitely love to cut the line because,
Yeah.
that's my style.
We'll go in the back door.
Yeah, that's it. All right, everybody. We're going to be back tomorrow
Good time,
on
man. Bye all.
Friday,
Yeah.
our usual Gulfstream Park Fridays with another contest for the 10 Palm Sunday brunch. That's going to be fun. Come on out, say hello, bet a couple of races with us tomorrow. We'll be there from 12 noon on. For Jeff Defo to Forrest, a invisible Mike Lubie Lubitz today, and
But doing a
Chris
fine
DeFelice.
job behind the scenes.
Oh, he's
you
great.
have to say.
He's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
He got everything set up and even remembered to plug in the computer.
He doesn't like the thought of you giving away his ribs, though. That's for sure.
I'm going to start flinging them just at everybody. It's going to
Yeah.
be great. And again, thanks to Gene here and, of course, Doug Carter and the whole crew at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market.
Outstanding.
Always a
Nice
great
job.
time
Yeah,
every
nice
month
job.
that we're out here. That's going to do it for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy every rib, corn on the cob, chicken wing, and enjoy every sandwich.